She acts as a spiritual mirror, reflecting back to you not only your most beautiful qualities, but also your deepest shadows, your oldest fears, your most destructive patterns. But this revelation doesn't happen with cruelty or judgment. It happens with a love so deep and unconditional that you feel safe to confront these truths about yourself. It's as if your soulmate creates a sacred space where you can be totally vulnerable, where you can dismantle all the defenses you've built over years and allow your true essence to be seen and loved. Thorne explained that our souls choose specific incarnations to work on particular karmic lessons. When soulmates meet, they bring with them the wisdom and tools necessary to help each other resolve patterns that may have persisted through multiple lifetimes. That's why your soulmate often challenges you in ways no one else can, gently pushing you outside your comfort zone and encouraging you to become the highest version of yourself. This growth also manifests through an expansion of consciousness that happens naturally when you're together. You begin to see the world through broader perspectives, to question limiting beliefs you've carried for years, to feel a deeper connection to the divine and all of creation. It's as if each other's presence activates dormant codes in your souls, unlocking potentials that were waiting for the right moment to emerge. Together, you become more dedicated seekers of spiritual truth. You're drawn to practices like meditation, prayer, studying sacred texts, or other forms of spiritual development. It's not a forced or intellectual pursuit. It's a natural calling that arises from the recognition that you have important work to do together, not just for your own growth, but for the greater good of humanity. This journey of growth also includes healing old wounds that may originate from past lives. Your soulmate has the unique ability to help you access and heal traumas your soul has carried for centuries. It could be a fear of abandonment that originated from a tragic separation in a previous life, or self-sabotaging patterns that developed from painful experiences in other incarnations. The healing process happens through the unconditional love you share. It's as if your soulmate's love is a spiritual balm that penetrates the deepest layers of your psyche, bringing light to places that have been in darkness for ages. It's not a quick or easy process, but it's profoundly transformative and liberating. At this point, I feel I need to pause our spiritual journey for a moment to share something important with you. If these words are touching your soul, if you're recognizing truths you've long suspected but never been able to articulate, I invite you to join our community of spiritual seekers. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because together we're creating a sacred space where awakened souls can connect, learn, and grow. Your presence here is no coincidence. It's part of the larger plan unfolding for all of us. Continue with me as we still have powerful revelations ahead. The fourth sign manifests as a deep sense of wholeness that goes far beyond ordinary romantic satisfaction. Dr. Elias Thorne taught that when we find our true soulmate, we experience what he called the union of divine polarities, the reuniting of complementary aspects of the same cosmic essence that were separated to allow individual experiences of growth through multiple incarnations. This wholeness doesn't mean you become dependent on your soulmate or lose your individuality. On the contrary, it means you finally feel complete in a way you never thought possible. It's as if you've spent your whole life feeling like something was missing, an indefinable longing for something you couldn't name. And suddenly that emptiness is filled not with the other person's physical presence, but with the recognition of a spiritual unity that has always existed. This sense of wholeness manifests in practical and profound ways. You stop compulsively seeking external validation because you found an internal source of acknowledgement and love that's constantly fueled by the connection with your soulmate. You stop feeling like you're playing a role in life and begin to live more authentically because finally there's someone who sees and loves your true essence. Dr. Thorne explained that our souls are originally androgynous, containing both masculine and feminine aspects, both yang and yin energy. Through the process of incarnation, we often emphasize certain characteristics while others lie dormant, creating an imbalance that leaves us constantly seeking external completeness. When we find our soulmate, that person carries the complementary aspects that help us rediscover our natural inner equilibrium. This doesn't mean you're opposites to attract. It means you're perfect complements who complete each other. Where you're impulsive, she's reflective, but in a way that smooths your edges without suppressing your spontaneity. Where she's cautious, you're courageous, but in a way that encourages her to take risks without forcing her entirely out of her comfort zone. It's a delicate dance of differences that harmonize rather than clash. This completeness also manifests as an inner peace you've never experienced before. With your soulmate, you don't feel the constant need to prove your worth or defend your position. You don't experience the mind games and insecurities that characterize many relationships. Instead, there's a profound tranquility, a feeling of having come home after a long journey. You discover you can be totally vulnerable without fear of judgment or rejection. You can share your wildest dreams, your deepest fears, your most secret shames, and instead of being rejected, you're embraced even more deeply. This unconditional acceptance creates an energetic field of emotional safety where you both can flourish as never before. Completeness also expresses itself through creative and productive synergy. Together, you're capable of accomplishing things you could never achieve individually. It's not just addition, it's multiplication. Your talents and abilities combine in unexpected ways, creating possibilities neither of you had imagined alone. It's as if the universe orchestrated not only your personal meeting, but a cosmic collaboration for a higher purpose. This collaboration might manifest in creative projects, spiritual endeavors, healing work, or any form of service that contributes to the greater good. You discover you have a shared mission, something you came to do together in this lifetime, and that discovery adds a dimension of purpose to the relationship that goes far beyond personal satisfaction. The fifth and deepest sign manifests as an alchemic transformation that happens at the soul level. Thorne taught that when true soulmates unite, they initiate a process of spiritual transmutation that he compared to the ancient art of alchemy, the transformation of base metals into pure gold. In a spiritual context, this means the transformation of dense and limited aspects of the personality into higher and more enlightened expressions of divine consciousness. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it's a continuous process that unfolds throughout the relationship. It's as if your soulmate's presence activates a catalytic field that accelerates your spiritual evolution in ways that would be impossible alone. Personality traits you've struggled to change for years begin to transform naturally. Old emotional patterns that seemed immutable begin to dissolve. Limiting beliefs you've carried for decades begin to be replaced by a more expanded understanding of reality. This spiritual alchemy manifests first through emotional purification. Your soulmate has the unique ability to bring to the surface repressed emotions, unresolved traumas, and shadowy aspects of the personality that need to be healed and integrated. But she does this with so much love and acceptance that you feel safe to confront these parts of yourself that you previously avoided. It's a process that can be intense and sometimes uncomfortable. You may go through periods of emotional instability where old feelings resurface with renewed force. You may face identity crises where you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. You may experience an emotional vulnerability that is both terrifying and liberating. But through it all, your soulmate remains a stabilizing presence, a beacon of unconditional love that reminds you of who you truly are, beyond all masks and defenses. She doesn't try to fix you or change you, she simply loves you through the process of transformation, providing the safe environment necessary for you to dismantle and rebuild yourself into a more authentic and elevated version of yourself. Dr. Thorne explained that this process of spiritual alchemy is facilitated by what he called Christic love, a form of love that transcends personal attachment and becomes a channel for universal divine love. When soulmates develop this kind of love for each other, they become vehicles for the transformation not only of themselves, but of everyone who comes into contact with them. This transformation also manifests through an expansion of the capacity to love. You discover that your love for your soulmate doesn't diminish your love for other people. It actually amplifies it. It's as if learning to truly love one person opens your heart to love all of creation more deeply and genuinely. You become more compassionate, more empathetic, more generous in all your relationships. Spiritual alchemy also includes the development of psychic and spiritual abilities that may have been dormant for years. Together, you may discover healing capabilities, heightened intuition, communication with higher dimensions, or other forms of expanded perception. It's as if the union of your energies creates a magnetic field that attracts deeper spiritual experiences. This process culminates in what Dr. Thorne called a sacred marriage, not just the union of two people, but the integration of divine masculine and feminine aspects within both partners. You become more complete individually, through the union, paradoxically discovering your own divinity through shared love. As this alchemical transformation progresses, you begin to radiate a quality of energy that positively affects everyone around you. Couples who have undergone this spiritual transmutation often find that people are naturally drawn to them, seeking advice, inspiration, or simply the comforting presence of a love that transcends the ordinary. You become beacons of possibility, living examples that true love is not just a romantic ideal, but a real transformative force that can elevate human consciousness. Your relationship becomes a form of spiritual service, a temple of love where others can glimpse what's possible when two souls commit not only to each other, but to mutual growth toward the light. The process of recognizing and embracing these signs isn't always linear or easy. Dr. Elias Thorne taught that we often resist soulmate encounters because they challenge us to grow in ways our personality would prefer to avoid. We may find our soulmate and feel frightened by the intensity of the connection. We may try to rationalize the signs or deny them because they don't fit our preconceived expectations of what love should be like. It's important to understand that the soulmate path isn't the path of ease, it's the path of growth. These relationships are intense by design because we came into this incarnation to evolve, not to remain comfortable. Your soulmate isn't here to complete you in a way that eliminates all your challenges. They're here to be your partner in the sacred work of becoming who you truly are. Sometimes this means facing aspects of yourself you'd rather keep hidden. It means having difficult conversations, making courageous choices, letting go of old patterns that no longer serve your growth. It means being willing to be vulnerable in ways that may feel terrifying at first. But the reward for this courage is an intimacy and connection that transcends anything you've ever experienced. It's the opportunity to know and be known on a level that goes far beyond the surface, to love and be loved in a way that includes and honors all aspects of who you are, not just the pretty and easy parts, but also the wounded and growing parts. Dr. Thorne also reminded us that not every significant relationship is a soulmate relationship. We have many souls in our spiritual family who come to teach, challenge, and support us. Soul companions, karmic teachers, spiritual relatives all play important roles in our journey. But the soulmate has a unique quality of mirroring and complementarity that facilitates specific kinds of growth and healing not possible in other relational settings. It's also important to recognize that finding your soulmate doesn't magically solve all of life's problems. You will still face challenges, still have to navigate the complexities of human life, still need the individual work of growth and healing. What changes is that you do this work together, supporting each other through the highs and lows, celebrating victories, and offering solace during difficulties. The soulmate journey is ultimately a journey back to the divine love that is our true nature. Through deep, transformative human love, we learn to access and express the universal love that connects all of creation. Our relationships become spiritual laboratories where we experiment with increasingly elevated forms of love, compassion, and service. Dr. Thorne saw these relationships as precious opportunities to accelerate our spiritual evolution and contribute to the elevation of planetary consciousness. Each couple who manages to create truly transformative love adds light to the human morphogenetic field, making it easier for others to access these levels of connection and growth. As more people awaken to the reality of soulmate connections and commit to the sacred work these relationships require, we contribute to a collective transformation that goes far beyond our individual lives. We become part of a network of light that is helping humanity evolve into higher forms of love and consciousness. Reflecting on these 5 profound signs, the instantaneous recognition that transcends time, the telepathic communication that connects souls across space, the accelerated spiritual growth that challenges and transforms, the divine completeness that heals the sense of separation, and the spiritual alchemy that transmutes consciousness, we begin to see that finding our soulmate is both an end and a beginning. It's the end of the solitary search for external completeness and the beginning of the shared journey towards spiritual fulfillment. It's the end of the illusion of separation and the beginning of the lived experience of unity. It's the end of relationships based on need and lack and the beginning of a partnership based on mutual growth and service to the greater good. When we recognize these signs in our own lives, when we allow them to guide us into deeper, more authentic relationships, we are not just enhancing our personal experience of love, we are participating in a collective awakening that has the potential to transform the very nature of human experience on Earth. The wisdom of Dr. Thorne reminds us that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that our deepest relationships are sacred opportunities to remember and express our true divine nature. When we find our soulmate, we don't just find a partner for this life, we find an eternal companion on the journey back to the source of all love. So, as you ponder these words and examine your own experiences of love and connection, consider this question that echoes across the dimensions of time and space. Is your soul whispering someone's name as you read these words, recognizing in the descriptions a love that already lives in your heart, waiting only for you to have the courage to acknowledge it and fully embrace it?